Welcome to another episode of the MoCity podcast with yours truly, Big Chuck. And this is the place where I try to politic with people either passing through the Mo, from the Mo, stopping in the Mo, or they know somebody out here. And today I got the beautiful Danyell Davis in the building, man. Look, I met her on the shoot of the MoCity the Movie. The vibe was right. We actually got a scene together. She kind of playing my assistant, and so we both got our acting on. But what I learned during that time, she's a very, very, very talented individual. I mean, she can sing, she can model, she can act. She's doing a bunch of different stuff. She create music, she in the film, she modeling, she got all the stuff going on. And today she popped up in the lab because we're doing some MoCity the Movie work. But I was like, I didn't realize you were that big into financial literacy. And so it was a good opportunity to sit her down on the MoCity podcast and let's talk finances. So Danielle, thank you for passing through the Mo and pulling up at my spot, and glad to have you.
Without further ado, thank you so much for having me. That was a fantastic intro. I do appreciate that. And I'm glad to be here. And it's always a great opportunity to talk about financial literacy.
Yes, it is. It's one of those topics that we need to have more discussions about, right? Like I overheard you and my bro talking, and me and him had that conversation before. Like I remember being middle school, high school, and even early college years where it wasn't until college where we began to get some kind of real financial literacy, right? But I remember being in high school and realizing that why am I taking these classes? They don't make sense. And more importantly, becoming grown and realizing, man, I wish they would have been teaching us about credit. I wish they would have been teaching us about debt and managing money and things of that nature. And so what kind of got you into financial literacy?
Absolutely. So I'd just like to speak briefly about my background.
Okay.
Because financial literacy is a passion of mine, but I think if you understand a little bit more about my background, it kind of makes sense. So in terms of my professional background, I'm certified as a teacher, certified as a principal, and certified to do speech therapy, which for me means that I know the ins and outs of our educational system. And I think that there's a lot that we do well for students. However, I feel one area that we are consistently failing our students in is the area of financial literacy.
Correct.
And to your point, we have students learning how to do trigonometry and geometry and calculus. And I was one of those students back in the day. I was like, why was I racking my brain like that? I did calculus. I was good at it, but I promise you, I have never used it, and so
I can't figure out a situation in my professional career, right? Yeah. Where I've had to use a complex equation like that. I can't determine the time when I've had to do that.
Absolutely. So I mean, kudos to those professionals that are maybe in engineering or a field like that. You might get some utilization out of it, but for the large majority of us, that just never really happens, And so I'm not knocking that part of education, but I feel that we also need to make sure that financial literacy is a part of our education. And the truth be told, financial literacy is not a mandatory part of the curriculum in most states in the United States of America. And I think that's a problem because I think that all students, it doesn't matter what side of the tracks you're born on, you need to have access to financial literacy.
Basic financial literacy, right? Just understanding income and what's debt, understanding credit, understanding things of that nature.
Yeah. So I think we put our students at a disadvantage by not having financial literacy be a mandatory part of the curriculum. And so that is what kind of I guess, got me passionate about the whole financial literacy piece. I saw the things that we were doing well in education, and I saw this as an opportunity to really educate students and make sure they understand how money works, because it really doesn't matter if you become an actor, a singer, a professional athlete, an engineer, a nurse, or a doctor, or a lawyer. Whatever your profession is, you're going to need to have a good understanding of how money works. And if we don't educate our students on how money works, then we're definitely putting them at a disadvantage. So that's how I came to be a financial literacy coach, is because I saw the need. And if I can be quite honest, and I feel that I can, financial literacy is needed in all communities, right? And what we've noticed is just like we had the pandemic of COVID, what there is a pandemic of financial illiteracy. And so that creates opportunities. We know that a lot of people are not getting this education. And then
or they're getting a miseducation.
Okay, they're getting a miseducation. And unfortunately, we have all kinds of discrimination in our society. And if you can deny a people this education, you can hold a people down.
Thanks.
So this does, kind of tie into the whole idea of systemic racism and institutionalized racism, because if you don't educate people financially, you can hold them back for generations. And I'm not a Bible beater, but I am a Christian and I'm not ashamed of my faith.
Hey, look, we team Jesus over here.
That's what I'm talking about. Jesus, what's up? Big ups, Jesus. And, the Bible says that a righteous man, and dare I say woman, leaves an inheritance for his children or her children's children.
Children's children. Yeah,
okay.
The Bible literally instructs us to leave generational wealth.
Absolutely. But if we do not have the financial literacy and the know-how, how are we going to do it?
And it's crazy because it's been proven throughout the media and throughout what we know, well, our culture definitely possesses the income. Right, we spend trillions of dollars every year just from the culture, so the money's there.
We're one of the biggest spenders.
Right, when I even look at our communities, right, we don't own those businesses. It's other races, it's other ethnicities that come into our communities and collect our funds.
Yes, they do.
And the reason they come is because those funds are available. And like you said, we lack the literacy to understand how to manage those funds.
Yes.
And so we willingly spend it faster than we get it. And
Absolutely.
so to the people who are not part of our community, yet they set up shop within our community.
Yeah,
and so I totally understand that.
Yeah, it's like we're the biggest spenders, but in many cases we're the worst savers.
Oh, facts. Facts. We heard JT said earlier he can't keep cash.
Right. So it's a big problem, right? Sometimes when I talk to people, we identify that they have what I call a spending problem. And
I got a spending problem.
I think it's all about being humble enough and being transparent enough to being willing to admit to it.
You gotta be honest with yourself, right? I can look in the mirror and tell you, Chuck, you do not need those Jordan number 5. You know what I'm saying? You got 4 pair of 5s already. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so but the other side of my brain be like, Chuck, they're exclusive, bro. And so,
So there's a whole psychology behind it. And we have to start identifying what are our triggers. Sometimes people spend because they're happy. Sometimes people spend because they're sad.
Yeah.
Sometimes people spend because they're bored. I'm just saying.
Shopping is therapy.
Absolutely. But I encourage people that spending is a habit. And the more you work on saving, it can become a habit as well.
Speak on it, because I had a guy tell me, and we can talk about saving for a minute, because he was kind of talking down on the savings, but more promoting the investing, right? He was like, man, don't just save this money and put it up and then just let it collect dust. Like, if you're going to put it somewhere, put it in a place where it can kind of multiply, where it can compound and do some things for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, I was going to ask, where are you on the fence with that? Are you more of a saver or more of an investor type?
I really think I'm all about holistic financial planning. I care about every
holistic financial planning.
Every part of your financial picture has to fit together nicely, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle.
Okay.
Right. And what we have, and we'll talk more about, I hope that you will invite me back.
We'll be back. So yes. April is National Financial Literacy Month. Right. And so this episode will likely drop right around April 1st. And so this month, if you're watching this is the month for financial literacy. So I'll definitely have you back so we can dig a little deeper into debt, into credit management, into money management and things like that.
Sounds good. And then we'll dig deeper into how you can establish a strong financial foundation.
So that's what I was going to get to, because you said it's really about holistic.
It's holistic. And so what we have found is if we could talk about building up your financial house, a lot of people are building their financial house wrong. Think about your physical house that you live in. Okay. You would not move into that house if you started building it with a roof. It would not work. You have to have a solid financial foundation, and you have to have a solid foundation to your home and build it up from the ground up. And that's the same way that we have to build your financial foundation. And what we have is people start off with investing, but they haven't secured their financial foundation. Some of the essential things that they need to have in place, such as proper protection, debt management, and emergency
fund,
they don't have those things in place. And so because their financial house is not built properly, it unravels. It just comes down, falls to pieces.
So what falls within the foundation? If we build in this foundation, this financial house, right? And we're talking about the foundation. Obviously, the foundation doesn't include vacations. It doesn't include the new Jordans I'm talking about.
Luxury,
right? Yeah. So, but what is included in the foundation?
Absolutely. So, part of having a strong financial foundation, number one, is get educated financially. Get educated financially, right? But don't stop there. Once you get educated financially, you want to go ahead and take a deep dive and look into your financial situation, because no two financial situations are exactly alike, and so, definitely I'll give my contact information, because I would love for you to reach out to me.
Be on the screen.
Yeah.
It'll be on the screen.
Make sure you get educated, but make sure you don't stop there. Make sure you, take advantage of a consultation so that we can take a deep dive into your personal financial situation and make sure that we have all the moving pieces put together nicely. But a few things that you want to think about is, number one, do you have proper protection? If something were to happen to
protection, you mean like insurance or things of that nature?
Absolutely. Okay. You want to make sure you have the right amount and the right type. That's different for every person, every individual, and every family. And that's even something that businesses have to make sure.
And you talking about like just insurance in general, or is this like life insurance or
all of your insurances, right? So anytime, see, people don't realize that, one part of financial planning is risk management, and insurance takes part or fulfills that risk management piece. And so anytime you don't have the proper amount or the proper type of insurance in place, you are putting yourself at risk for financial hardship. And so that's a great question. Yes, it would include things such as your auto insurance, if you're a renter's insurance, if you're a home buyer, homeowner's insurance, but also things like life insurance and some other types of insurances that will go into more depth, when I'm back. But having those basic things in place protects you financially. Even health insurance, right? One of the number one reasons why people go bankrupt is because they don't have health insurance.
And health problems are extremely costly.
It's expensive. Yeah. And so we have to protect our health. And part of the way we do that, and we have to protect our wealth, is making sure that we have the right amount and type of health insurance in place. So that's that's one little nugget that we have to look at.
Working on the foundation to your financial house, if you will. Protect yourself.
You gotta protect yourself.
You gotta protect yourself, protect your income, and learn, right? So the 2 points in that foundation was educate yourself and then learn how to protect yourself as well.
Absolutely.
That's dope. So let me ask you this. When we talk about financial literacy, I know one of the challenges that I have personally, right? I'll use myself as the example, is debt management.
Yes.
It's debt management, right? From a mortgage, right? To car notes, that sort of deal, and then credit cards and all these different types of debt. And then what I've been learning over the years in my adult life is there's good debt and bad debt, right?
Absolutely.
It kind of depends on the reason you're doing it, the time you're doing it, and what you're looking for. So, but debt is one of those things that our culture struggles with.
Absolutely.
And so if you could speak on debt management for a minute, as far as building this financial house, right? Matter of fact, where would debt be? Is that foundational, or now we in the walls?
That's one of the layers of the foundation is debt management. Let's talk about. I have some statistics for you, and I just want to kind of show you the book that I'm. This is part of our curriculum. It's coming from our Saving Your Future book. This is kind of like our manual, our curriculum. There's over 1 million copies in print. I didn't mention earlier, but I'm part of the National Financial Literacy Campaign. We have a presence in all 50 states, Canada, and Puerto Rico. And our mission is to educate 30 million North Americans between now and the year 2030, and you're part of that. And so part of the way we educate people is through utilizing this curriculum through the Saving Your Future book. There's over 30 years worth of basic financial principles that are contained within this book, and really secrets to how you can build wealth and how you can maintain once you do build. But speaking to debt, I want to give you those statistics.
Let's go. Stats.
33% or more than 77 million Americans don't pay their bills on time. Maybe you know someone like that, or maybe you're in a situation like that.
33. So 1 out of 3 adults is paying their bills late.
Paying their bills late consistently across America. This is not just African Americans or Asian Americans or Mexican Americans. This is across the board, all Americans.
So all Americans, so 1/3 of Americans wait until the pink one come in before they paying the bill.
Absolutely. So we know people are hurting out there. Then maybe this might ring a bell. 39% carry credit card debt from month to month. Maybe you know someone like that.
39%. So almost 4 out of 10 people paying minimums.
Paying minimums. Absolutely. Okay. And more than half of Americans think it's acceptable to default on their mortgage. If they can't afford to pay it, they simply walk away from it.
Walk away from the mortgage, the home, and everything.
And so the American dream they thought they had, they lose because they're not able to sustain it. And then they don't realize the negative effects that that's going to have on their credit for years to come, you know? And so
what was that stat? How many people walk away from their mortgages?
More than half.
More than half. Wow. More than half of the people who attempted to acquire the American dream, right? Home ownership, are losing those homes because of bad money management.
Bad money management. See, the thing is, I've worked with bankers, and they say, Danyell, you know what? Before people come to me to apply for a home loan, they need to come to you, Danyell, because they need to be educated financially. They need to make sure that their financial house is in order before they even apply for the home loan, before they even get into the home. Because what happens is they'll get into the home and not have good financial habits, and then they won't be able to sustain it. So yes, come holler at me before you even get into the situation where you're applying for the loan, because we want to educate you. I mean, what a shame to get into a home and then you can't keep it, to get the American dream and you can't sustain it. But we have to be willing to put in the work and make sure that we have our finances in order before we get into a home. Yeah. So these are some of the challenges that we're up against. We know people are hurting out there.
More than half of people lose their mortgages and lose their home. And it's crazy because we saw a bunch of that like out here some years ago. Where you know, rates were adjusting and all of a sudden people couldn't afford their homes no more. And you know, challenges happen.
Exactly.
Wow.
So yeah, so that speaks to some of the, you know, challenges that we're going through. But in terms of debt, it's really good to have a systematic plan in place about how you're going to get out of debt. A lot of people are, you know, I know, you know, you're ducking and dodging those calls. You don't want to hear from those creditors. But, you know, take a deep breath and really think about, you know, how you can get the help that you need, so that we know most Americans have debt, but we want to get a plan in place that's systematic to help you get out of that debt
within a certain period of time, right?
Right.
So how do you feel about like debt consolidation loans and things like that?
I think it's a case-by-case basis. For some people, the debt consolidation may be the way to go. But for other people, it could really just be all about implementing a good budget and really starting to get some really good
to the budget.
Sticking to the budget. Getting some good financial habits in place. And many people are able to work on getting out of debt without doing the debt consolidation.
Just being consistent. Saving, spending, changing spending habits. Yeah, cooking more, eating out less.
Okay.
All of that kind of
getting
stuff.
A plan in place and working that plan.
And so as a consultant, right, as a financial consultant, helping people put that plan together is why they need to visit you.
Absolutely. Okay. Again, you know, I challenge people to get educated financially. That's powerful. But what's even more powerful is if you can get educated financially and then get an action plan in place, right? Then now we can change your life. Exactly. We can change your legacy. I consider myself to be a legacy changer. So if you're coachable.
A legacy changer. That's what I was just about to get to. You have to be coachable. You have to be willing to first off be vulnerable, right? Because
Yes.
you got to see the numbers.
You got to be transparent with
Yeah,
me.
you
I
got to
always
see the
tell
numbers.
people, you know, tell me how good your financial situation is. Tell me how bad your financial situation is. Tell me how you're hurting. I want to know the ins and outs. I care about your total financial picture, but I really can't help you if you're not
Yeah, you
transparent.
can't put the right plan together if you don't know the facts.
You got to be transparent with me and know that I am a licensed financial professional. Know that I'm not putting your business out there in the street. Anything that
So
you
your
share
info
with
is
me,
protected.
it's protected.
It's protected. It's safe.
I value my license and I value your business and your confidentiality. So you don't
That's
have to
what's
worry
up.
about that. I established that early on, you know, on our first meeting. So you'll know that I'm never going to ask you for information that I don't need. But the information that you give me is valuable because that helps me to put a holistic financial plan in place and customize it for you and your family or your business.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Y'all watching the MoCity podcast. I'm Chuck. That's Danyell. We in here talking financial literacy, and she's been big on the financial education kind of component of things. It's very important that you educate yourself about how to manage your money, how to, you know, balance your budget and things of that nature. But one of the things she offers is these workshops, right? So you can't just talk education without giving people a chance to get educated, right? And so she offers several workshops from increasing cash flow. She got a debt management workshop. They got a proper protection, right? So that's the insurance stuff we was talking about. Asset accumulation. I'm gonna put a star next to that one. Because we are trying to get assets, right? Trying to acquire, accumulate assets, retirement planning, wealth preservation, all of these different workshops. And so, before we get into that, talk about the asset accumulation workshop. Like, is that just about on the surface level, just how to generate more income, or is it more about organizing the kind of assets people already have?
Right. So learning how to make your money work for you. I'm going to say that is one of the things that sets apart the wealthy from the not wealthy. Is wealthy people, not only do they work for their money, but they know how to make sure that their money is working for them. Their money works for them while they're sleeping. So we really educate you about how you can get your money to work for you and how you can accumulate assets that will work for you while you're sleeping. Right.
Awesome. So if you're interested in a financial workshop, right, you want to take a class and just increase your knowledge. Maybe you're about to purchase a home, maybe you in a financial situation, and more importantly, you probably got income, right? I'd imagine most of the people you deal with have income, they have the money, it's just not being managed properly. Absolutely. And that's where the consultation come in. So maybe in that situation, you want to take a class. I'm gonna put some info at the bottom of the screen right now. It's gonna be her IG. Slide in the DMs, right? Hit her up, say, hey, I'm interested in taking one of these classes. I'm interested in some consulting. Matter of fact, the phone number will be next to it. You can send her a text with the same message. Hey, I'm interested in taking one of these classes. I'm interested in getting some consultation. She'll follow up, right? And then y'all can kind of take it from there.
Absolutely. I'm here to help you. I'm here to partner with you. Together we can cross the finish line. If you're willing to be coachable and transparent, we can get there. If
you're willing to be, so don't be sliding in the DMs if you know you're not about to get the right information. If you know you're trying to win, like this is not that play, right? This is not a scam. This is not no means to get over. We're really trying to provide a valuable insight into financial literacy and share this information with our people, right? Who can benefit from it. Absolutely. And so that's why I was invited her here. I was like, bro, I need you. We was outside kind of just talking finance. I said, I'm about to turn equipment on. Let's sit you down at the table and let's share what you know with the people. Absolutely. And so April, National Financial Literacy Month. I think that's a good call to action for anybody watching this to take April seriously, right? Take April as an opportunity to change your finances. Find a class you could take, schedule some consultations, watch a podcast, read a book, or learn some curriculum. Like, it's all kind of ways you can become educated in your finances. Two more questions for you, and then we'll kind of wrap up. One, what's one of the biggest challenges, right, that you notice with our people? Is it the spending or is it the not saving? Like, what's the biggest challenge that you see?
I definitely think number one is having the education. And it's because we touched on this earlier. It's not a mandatory part of the curriculum in most states. So we're not being educated financially when we go to school. If you come, I'm honest, if you come from a family like mine, your parents weren't educated financially, your grandparents weren't educated financially, your great grandparents weren't educated financially. So if they're not educated financially, they could not educate me financially. You can't pass it down. So we talked about earlier about passing down multi-generational wealth. But if your family and your forefathers, if they haven't been educated financially, then they're not able to educate you financially. So if you're not getting educated at home, if you're not getting educated in school, where are you going to get that education? Well, here I am right here as a part of the National Financial Literacy Campaign. We do it 365, and we do it even more in the month of April since it's National Financial Literacy Awareness Month. So, yeah, so I think that definitely not having access to the education is a huge hurdle, especially in the African-American community.
Lack of information is always the challenge.
It
right?
is.
Well, so I'll take that back. I'm gonna say always the challenge because in 2023, right, the info is available.
Yes.
right. These workshops are here. It's plenty of content available online. We all know other people in the financial industry. So I ain't gonna say the information not available. We lack application.
There we go.
We lack application, right? It's one thing to know it. It's another thing to actually do it, right?
Yes.
And so
there's a nation called procrastination. And that is, I mean, in life, if you procrastinate, you will fail, and so that's a number one reason why people fail in life. But it's another number one reason why people fail financially is procrastinating and waiting and not applying the knowledge that they've learned. So if we work together, I'm always going to challenge you to, yes, number one, get educated, but apply that knowledge and get a plan in place. So I think that's another reason why people fail, because they're procrastinating and because they don't apply what they've learned. And the truth of the matter is, you have to be willing to fight for your family, fight for your legacy. There's never a perfect time to get started. You just have to make a decision that you're going to get started. There's always going to be adversity. There's always going to be challenges, but you have to make a decision that you want to fight for your financial future. And I'm looking for people that want to be warriors and champions for their family and the next generation. If that's you, and if you're serious, then I can work with you. Again, we can cross that finish line together.
You want to be a warrior for your family. You want to leave a legacy. You in a financial challenge right now. You want to get some coaching, get some information to help you kind of spend better, save better, invest better, and kind of build that foundation. Man, she's looking for contacts. And so again, information will be right there. Slide in the DMs on some financial stuff, right? Usually people slide in DMs for other reasons. We're gonna slide in the DMs and say, hey, I saw you on the MoCity podcast. I'm interested in you helping me out with some coaching.
Absolutely.
And Danyell, this has been dope.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate the vibe. I appreciate the vibe you brought in here. Yes, I appreciate the brief little knowledge you gave me. I can't wait to politic more.
Yes, sir.
We may bring out a series of different financial tips. I'll see if I can work that out. And that may be coming soon. But let's not hold you too long. If you could tell the people who may be watching, who may be listening, one thing to just kind of keep in mind as we approach, right, National Financial Literacy Month. What would you tell them to kind of, I guess, get in the push to make better management of their finances?
Absolutely. Keep the faith, believe in God and believe in yourself. And if you haven't gotten it right yet, as long as the good Lord has given you breath, it's not too late. A lot of people get discouraged because they feel like they're getting up in age and they feel like they're not where they want to be financially. But as long as you're willing, you have an open mind and an open heart, we can work on your situation and we can get you where you're trying to go, if you're just willing to put in the work and if you have an open mind and open heart. So don't be discouraged. That's what I want to tell a lot of people, because I know a lot of people are hurting financially. They get overwhelmed. They're saying now that your heart health is connected to your financial health, because think about it. When your finances are right, you don't feel good. You're stressed out. Your blood pressure's up. So I feel like we're saving lives by helping people with financial literacy, because we can help you to not only be financially healthy, but, healthy within your body and your soul. It's just about alignment and getting things in order. So that's what I want people to know is, don't give up. Don't lose heart if you're not where you want to be financially. I'm not here to help people that are perfect financially. And basically, I found that it doesn't matter if people are beginners, intermediate, or advanced. There's usually, if we'll humble ourselves, there's usually an area where we can improve. Exactly. So it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're open-minded and if you're serious and you're willing to put in the work, then I'm willing to help you. Absolutely.
Man, that's what's up, bro. You said something that was very, very similar to my bro J Dab. I had him on here He's a pastor. But he was sharing with me one of the things he tried to teach his congregation. What was it? It was those three things. He was like, I need you to be healthy financially,
Yes.
spiritually, and physically.
All
Right.
of the
Yeah.
above.
Yeah. And so when you got to talking about how the health gets involved,
It's connected.
they're all connected. And that was the same point he was making.
Mhm.
That's what's up.
Yes,
Man, yeah,
sir.
this has been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. It's a privilege and an honor, and I'm passionate about helping our community.
Man, y'all been tuned into the MoCity podcast live from MoCity, Texas. Man, I'm Chuck. That's Danyell Davis, financial coach, financial literacy expert. We're gonna take her all that. Thank y'all for tuning in. Till next time, we out.